Welcome to this episode of Let's Chat. I'm your host, Chris Revill, coming from the Cat Cave in Warwick, Rhode Island. Let's Chat is a long-form conversational podcast where we seek out guests from the world of pop culture, punk rock, and podcasting. And today we're doing something a little different. This is episode number 223, and for the first time in I don't know how many years, we don't actually have a guest today. We are doing our very first ever Let's Chat Producers episode. The reason this is the first time we're doing this, we didn't have any producers up until a few months ago. And so for those who are new to the show, thank you so much for coming along for this ride. We're happy to have you. Those longtime listeners or in between, thanks for coming back. The short version is a few months ago, I ended up making up a team. We started a team to kind of build and grow the show to see. Essentially, my initial idea was like, let's see how far we could take this. Does this thing have any legs? And it turned into kind of this multi-headed beast that is turning into so much more. If you're anyone out there, all of a sudden, maybe you're noticing some changes if you've been following us. Lots happened, and there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and I was thinking it's about time we give more credit to where credit is due. There's some people who couldn't be on this call, and some people have come in different ways to help out that I would definitely want to shout out. Thank you for everything to Scott Meany, Will Forcer, and Margie Fellman, Nathan Peavy, Max Baines. You've all been incredibly wonderful and amazing and good friends and super helpful with helping me kind of learn this stuff. There's so many more other people have come on, but so right now we're calling this the Core Four. We've got Bree Benjamin, Chris Ball, and Mike Schwartz. They are the ones who have really been behind all the changes that you've been seeing. Bree made our website. There's a lot of other stuff that is still in the works with Mike and Chris, and that we've just been doing a fuck ton. It's the reason I was able to moderate the event at What Cheer through Let's Chat. It's the reason we've been getting some press. It's the reason we have a website. The reason you now have YouTube Live. Mike's in the process of making us a Twitch account. We're going to be on Discord soon. We have a Facebook group, Let's Chat Community, which has been really active. Everyone in there has been really super fun and nice. We're making a go at it. So we also are happy to announce we now have a Patreon. You could be like the Vern. Shout out to the Vern, our very first Patreon supporter. We're at patreon.com/Let's Chat Pod. Make sure if you can give, if you can't share at the very least. We're really hoping to do more with everything. So I thought this would be a really fun thing to let everyone learn our personalities. And I want to incorporate the show and have more of, we're going to build this beyond the podcast and be more like internet personalities, I guess. Influencers is the word, essentially. But I love these people. Honestly, we talk sometimes daily. We definitely meet once a week. These are the people who are tired, and we all have jobs, and we all have kids, and we work our asses off, and for some reason we get on Zoom calls for fun when we have free time to work on how to make strategies about social media and guests and booking and how to make a podcast and maybe monetize that shit. I'm indebted to them forever. I can't thank them enough for my time for joining this vision or dream or whatever the hell you want to call it, that is kind of just grown and changed and turned into something I never had expected. And I love these people, and I think you will too. I think you get a real sense of our personality in this episode. Quick plugs. Bree was recently on the Two Dudes Movie Review podcast. That should be coming out pretty soon. You could follow us online at Let's Chat Podcast. You can follow personal Twitters. All of your links will be on letschatpodcast.net, a website made by the wonderful Bree Poe. Also, we are also going to be introducing our brand new theme music from Anthony Willie, who played in the band Folly, who are good buds, good friends. It's been 7 fucking years. I've never been able to get Anthony or Arbin on the podcast, but I've had 3/5 of Folly. But Anthony put in, I can't even tell you how many hours he put in to give this music. And literally, I would give him notes like things like this. I'm looking for a bit of a Misfits, Project 1950 meets Phil Spector vibe, and throw a little electrolyte orchestra into it. So he didn't have a lot of great person to work with, and he sent me so much music, and he worked his ass off. So all this new music you'll be hearing will come from Anthony, but our new song we're happy to start with. Follow us online. Anyway, there's 222 other episodes you can dig through if this one's not for you. But I think you're going to listen to this and find yourself liking Bree, Chris Ball, and Mike Schwartz way more than you like me. Anyway, let's get to it. thanks for listening to the very first episode of the Let's Chat's producers, formerly the Let's Chat Avengers, because we decided to go from this little fun thing to like, hey, maybe this is bigger than, and we should take it seriously, because you can't put, I'm a Let's Chat Avenger on a resume. So today, I'm excited. I've been really happy and fortunate to get to the point of not only get to work with these beautiful humans, but actually get to call them like friends. And it's the reason people podcast, to make friends. At least why I podcast, it's to make friends, and now hopefully some money. But so today I want you to get to know more about the Let's Chat producers. So let's introduce ourselves. Bree, want to start us off and say hello so people know who you are?
Hi, I am Bree Benjamin, or Bree Poe.
Past guest. Yep. So, Mike, you want people introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Mike Schwartz. I look like Seth Rogen, and I'm in charge of business development.
You are business development.
I
That
am
was a
business
beautiful
development.
intro. Damn it,
Thank
Mike.
I've been working on it nonstop.
Whatever.
The one and only Chris Ball. You probably know him from Twitter, Facebook, or one of the billion podcasts that we're all connected through.
At this point, yeah, pretty much. Hi, I'm Chris. You'll see me online, Irish on Fire, Seed, which is a new name on here at the time. Let's see, I don't know. I have just a parent, 2 kids. I do social media and everything for this show, among other shows, and connect with vinyl collector. And I work with pretty much dogs for a living.
That was much more in depth than the rest of us.
You know, I feel like it started with nothing, and then y'all added so much more, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, Bree, you kind of dropped the ball.
But is he okay?
No, I think people,
I have no idea what to say.
I think it'd be kind of cool. I want to kind of think of it like if I was an audience member. What I want to know. So we'll start with you, Bree. How did you find the show? I think of anyone on this call, I think I've known you the longest at this point. Because I would say we've been friends for a while. I hope so. Did I misread our friend trip?
We were friends. Man, I feel honored. I was looking at our Skype history, and it said 2011. Is it really that long now, right?
No, that can't be right, because this show didn't even exist until 2013.
Maybe I just can't read. Shut up, Mike.
Y2K?
That wasn't me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, one day I was just scrolling through Twitter when I had like 20 followers, and I saw someone post a question about 80s music, and it was you, and I responded, and then we just talked about 80s music and pizza, and it just went to more pizza, and I was like posting pictures of pizza, my favorite pizza, black olive and mushroom with yellow mustard. Yeah, you heard that right. Yeah, all of you.
Yellow mustard.
So good. Dip it and everything.
I'm not gonna harp on it until I try it, but
Okay, yeah, well, I didn't
sounds
ask
weird.
you, so you should just try it.
What about honey mustard? Would that work?
Ew, no, that
no.
doesn't count as
With,
mustard.
that's sweet with the olives. That's not gonna go well.
But that's
I'm pretty
fine.
sure there's not a single thing on that pizza I like.
I like everything except for
The
mustard.
cheese.
The
thing.
cheese.
Oh my
Maybe
god,
the
that should be our opening question. Be like, what is your weird food thing? Because you know everyone eats something that sounds gross to everyone else that you like. Like me, foot-long tuna from Subway with honey mustard.
Ew.
I know, sounds disgusting. I fucking love it.
Mustard and seafood.
It's honey
Yeah.
mustard.
Mustard and mashed potatoes. That's where it's at.
And do you remember? I remember we used to tweet a lot with brands, like with us, and then Kevin from Everything Is Awesome would like have a long tweet thing going with Carvel cakes.
Carvel, and then
DiGiorno?
DiGiorno
Tombstone.
jumped on. No, yes, Tombstone.
Oh, that's funny because I love DiGiorno and I never buy Tombstones. Their marketing campaign failed.
But their Twitter is great.
And then you came on the show at some point for some reason. How nice am I?
Wow, we had no guess, so we asked Bree what she was doing.
No, it's funny. If you look at the episode releases, it goes Travis McElroy and then you. So it was a pretty big get.
Yeah,
I think
so rude.
if I'm not, I could be wrong, Bree, but but I think you might have been one of the first people I think that like interacted with who like found the podcast, but not through via someone I might know, like through 7 people. I was so my brother and I are big on Twitter too. We're always like, "Who is this Brie Poe? She seems cool." And I was like, I just assumed.
Right.
I think I was like, it might have been. I was like, is this our first like fan? And then we became like actual real life friends as like some of our personal life dipped in terms of quality. And you bought Felicity a really nice birthday present.
Aw,
and I still use her thermometer every day.
No, it's like because we talked about the Flash too.
Yeah.
And like the TV show and how much we love him.
I was really
so
into
I sent her
that
a
show
Flash
at that point.
monkey.
Yeah, me and Mia from Cynical Cartoons did a short-lived Flash podcast called Super Fast Flashcast, but we didn't get very far because we lived in different time zones, and I didn't have a way to watch the Flash when it aired, so we were always like so far behind it didn't work out. We were trying to do like a live recap, but she's awesome, so go check her out. Brie, you know, everything anyone is seeing online is recent, like the website. Our organizational skills have gotten much better. The show is being run much differently and better since everyone. But Bree, you were the, you know, I know I tell you this every time, Bree, but like, you were my first call because I was going back and forth for a while of like what I wanted and like was trying to figure out what I wanted to do or if I was going to keep doing it. And I don't know why I just kept coming back. It's like, that's Bree. I look back now. I don't know what the audacity was. I was like, I think I texted you. And we probably haven't talked in a while. I was like, hey, can I call and ask you a question? And like, I don't know. And you're like, sure, let's hop on a call. And I think I just laid it all out, like my vision, and it was completely different than what it was. It wasn't that great. It's gotten better. And you're like, okay, but let's do this, this, and that. And then you brought us to Mike. You brought Mike into the fold. And Mike, you're the one I know, like, I've known the least. So, Mike, give us your story. How'd you get here?
Woo!
So let's see. I met Bree through when I was working at Costco. One of my coworkers knew Bree, and I can't remember. I think I was just starting in freelance writing, and Bree's done that before. So I was talking with my coworker about it, and then she mentioned she had an old friend, so she gave me your Twitter handle, and then I messaged you on Twitter. A bunch of questions that, I don't know, just basic how to be a good freelance writer and stuff. And that was like, God, what? That was probably 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
So, Bree, you have a type?
Internet. Like,
Internet friends.
Don't accept me.
Dorky internet guys.
Screw real friends. He just kept asking me questions like, "What do you charge for this? What do you think about this? Like, should I be charging you now?"
I know.
And you two never met in real life?
No.
Same here. No. Yeah, all three of us had never met, and then, you know, the only other producer who isn't on tonight is Will Forcer, he guest hosted our episode with Sean Colon, and we happen to live in the same area. He's the only one I've met, but like Ball and Mike and none of us. That's crazy. None of us have ever met in real life. I smell a sitcom.
No.
I'm busy that day.
Yeah, I'm busy.
But so, actually, Mike, I actually waited to do this on air because I know you had to be more truthful. How did Bree rope you into this? Because I actually just think I got like a text or something from Bree. It was just like, we're meeting with Mike, and then I remember getting off the call. I was like, does Mike work with us now? All right, this is awesome.
She just messaged me on Twitter and asked if I've ever done proposal writing before, and I said, I've done a little bit of it, and said that you guys were looking, and I'm like, yeah, I could jump into the podcasting world, business development. And, yeah, she just asked.
A writer, and I was like, hey, Mike, can you do this? Like, you're going to. I'm just like nicely asking, but you're already in.
It's too funny again because I think when first time we met Mike, I guess I thought we were doing like an interview, or I was just like, what is? Just trying to figure out like, see what he has to offer, and then you were so on it. You're like, you had plans. I'm like, oh my god, I love Bree, and I love the people Bree bring in. I think between the four of us, like Ball and I are more of the type B, and you two are more of the type A, and I think that's why we all work out very well together. Mike, did you listen to did you have any awareness of this, or you're just like, oh sure?
No, I had never heard of Let's Chat before.
He still hasn't, people.
Huh?
He still's never heard of it.
Yep. Nope.
Fired.
I've never listened to a single second. Nope. Not even a single one. No. So yeah.
I've heard it's good.
I'd never heard of it. Bree mentioned like, oh cool, it's the name of the pod. Like just asked about my writing stuff, and then I asked what the name of the podcast was. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll check it out. Check that out. Bing bang boom. Here I am.
If you didn't like it, would you have said no?
Probably yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, right.
That makes me feel good. 'Cause what if Bree was like, yeah, I work for this podcast. It's called The Daily Stormer, and you're like,
Oh, boy.
how much are you paying?
Yeah, I'm bad.
Yeah.
And then what brings us to last but not least, the mystery of all, Chris Ball. We're
Hello.
not sure how he got here, and I'm not joking. Him and I literally could not figure out how we met.
I think the closest connection that I can think of is through my friend's podcast. So I was working with for a long time up in Vermont, Lost at Home.
That's gotta be.
Pretty sure you were on a podcast that they had guested on as well. It was some locals.
Yes, it was.
They were doing like a round table of all these different shows for every
Yes.
episode or something.
The Fat J podcast. It was called Let's Talk Some Shit.
Yeah, it was right out of my state too, I believe.
Yes, it was. Oh, and Jay Rothbound. He's been on once or twice. I don't recall, but he's a past guest. I wonder how he's doing. Well, Jay, if you ever hear this, we miss you, buddy. It's been a minute. Oh, that's right. And then because I remember talking to those Lost at Home guys because they were booking Dan Harmon, who was
they're crazy.
They were Dan Harmon accidentally dropped one of the seasons of Rick and Morty premiere on their podcast.
Yeah, they've had him. They've had remember his name, the actor, or the guy who played the Demogorgon in
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
They've
had him on twice.
They connected me with Ana Maria Leonte, who was in The Force Awakens.
Yeah. They've had multiple. They've had two of the lead casts of Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah, they had actual famos.
They've had a lot of people.
And this is but they had Dan Harmon on at the post Community at the early era, not even recently.
Yeah.
He was still pretty more well known.
Yeah, he was quite the long time get, that's for sure, as far as how long it took them to get him, because he's not the most interview friendly person.
Yeah, he's a character. So did you know Bree outside of me? Cause
no,
you guys never connected through that Pod and Family hashtag. I always feel like that must have been where we would have met.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it had to have been through you, Chris, as far as through your show and just probably on Twitter, just commenting on making snarky comments like I always do. Just unless it's a joke, ignorance of someone ignoring me or someone yelling at me. I mean, whether or not, one way or another, I'm getting a reaction, so that's something.
And then Ball was another, I jokingly say, we don't know how he got here, but when we started the team, you were very adamantly wanted to be a part of, you were like, but on a very small part-time thing, you were, you wanted to have a smaller involvement, which was that worked out good. But then unintended, I don't know if you even noticed, but it went from I guess
0 to 100.
Yeah,
1 to 100.
I would say, because I had made some other phone calls. There's a couple people who kind of popped in and out, or I've asked some other people. Nate Peavy jumped in for a little bit, and then it wasn't just the time commitment. My dear friend Max Baines, but he wasn't. He still will help out here and there. And then but I was always trying to pull you in. You're like, no, I'm more just an idea guy. It's okay, that's cool. And then I would just I would be all right, then you don't have to come to the boring meeting stuff and do all the stuff I don't like to do, which is pretty much all the stuff Bree and Mike do. But they're cool and they love it. And then it just kind of turned into you just kind of were just more involved in all of this stuff more and more.
I think in the very beginning, because that's how I did it with a lot of shows, because, this is somebody else's creative outlet. This is somebody else's beast versus my, whether it be art or business or whatever, you know what I mean? Once you're stepping in alongside somebody else, there's somebody above you. So you don't want to kind of start taking, inadvertently taking charge or trying to jump the gun a little bit and realize, oh, I totally stepped on the damn toes. So I kind of definitely took the very safe route of, I'm just the idea guy, which I am mostly, but, you were very welcoming to any information.
You're playing your skills down, Ball. You're more than just the idea guy. Like, you're the person that brings all the people together. Yeah.
You are the glue.
That's how it started with a lot of people. Because, everybody else had been so established for so many years. They have this really tight-knit group of people, and you're the new one. You don't want to jump the gun on yourself or assert yourself in a way that's going to get you out of there real fast.
Except it was me and Bree for 2 months.
Well
yeah,
exactly.
It was all new.
It literally just started.
Well, Chris, you've always been like the happy, I always call you the happy child in that way, where you're always very welcome. Like, yeah, come on, let's do this, let's go. And for me, at first I was like, let's see. Well, it's like, let's see how this rolls. I'm like, oh, good Lord. I'm like, then again, I've never had anybody over the years have been involved somewhere in listening or being part of podcasts for years. So I never had anybody that was that kind of, so happily engaged and wanting you to be part of this and you to share in the, the spoils of this and your creativity and whatever have you. You don't get that a lot in podcasts. It's very much somebody's craft and they do not want you messing with it.
Had you had listened to it prior to coming to work with us?
Yeah, I had heard it on and off. I think everybody has a certain set amount of podcasts you listen to. You know what I mean? You're always going to. You're always gonna kind of go around and
you have your staples.
Your staples, and then you're gonna have you see a random interview here and there that catches your attention, you jump on it. That's the benefit of your show. There's not current events, which can really hinder you as a show.
Yeah.
Because if it's 6 months down, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah, I don't listen to the old episodes of the Daily Zeitgeist because it already happened, but on the flip side, they're probably much larger. But yeah, I've always, at least in my head, was always my goal at one point was always if I can just get someone to subscribe and listen once in a while, and hopefully hit download every single time if they don't listen, I'll be very happy. But now we're getting our aspirations have kind of grown since, and I want this obviously to be more about you all. But what I think is so funny, my original thought was I'll team up, and then I'll just have more free time, and I can not do all the stuff of the podcast I don't like. And this really strange thing happened to me that I still can't. I've never considered myself a creative person, or artistic, but to the point there's times I can't even sleep. It did free up my free time, but all of a sudden I just get these wells of ideas of things, and as you three know, because you get our text threads, and some of them come and now have actually happened, and we're done them and doing them, and then it's insane. Sometimes I know I've talked to Bree, you know about this too. There was a little period of this time frame where it turns out I was starting to wonder if I had bipolar disorder, because I was having these really, really swings of up, but I got a lot done. Turned out it was a medication I was on was a little bit too high, so we got that straightened out. But there was these periods I wasn't sleeping because I was we gotta do this, and sometimes we actually did. That's how our See You Live event happened, just some crazy shit, or our website was just I'm never sleeping.
Drugs will do that to you.
You have plenty of time to sleep when you're dead.
Let's learn about each other. Outside of podcast stuff, we don't know our lives that well. Bree, every time I talk to you, you say something wait, what? It's normal. What was that when we were doing our call with the Disney people that, let's give no context to that statement and let people think we were talking to Walt Disney himself. No, we were talking with the
floating in a jar is headed.
Part of it.
Good Futurama. That's why we all get along. The Defining Disney podcast. You just oh yeah, I was born in Japan. Was that where you said it? I don't know.
So, no, I lived in Japan for 7.5 years, but I was born in California. So, yeah.
Military family?
I was going to say.
Yeah, Air Force. But, all this is like so normal and natural for me. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been to Guam and, lived there and chickens were running wild and you could walk the whole island in like less than a day and before it turned into hotels. And then we moved to, when we flew to California and we drove a car with all of us in it across from California all the way to New Jersey to McGuire Air Force Base and stayed there for a couple of years. And then ended up in South Carolina, and one day I needed a change and all this bad stuff was happening, and I just left home at 16 and came to Richmond, Virginia, and I stayed there for a little bit with some friends, and just things went south a little bit, so I came to Charlottesville, and Charlottesville is just the kind of place where it sucks you in and you can't leave. Not in a bad way. Like, it's good. It's nice. Like, small, big town.
Like
and
Indiana over here.
I've got to connect with a lot of really great people, and I've been able to backpack across Mexico, swim in cenotes, and do mission work. And cenotes are like underground caves with water, pools of crystal clear, gorgeous water, freezing but beautiful. And do mission work in Romania for a couple weeks and Jamaica a couple years in a row, and it's all about connections.
I didn't know any of that about you.
Ugh. Yeah, and here, my best friend is Vanessa. You can follow her on
I do.
Twitter. I guess she's the most perfect and beautiful human being I've ever met. Then we started getting tattoos together, and like one day I had a dream that I had my nose pierced, and then she calls me the next day, and she's like, Brie, we should get our noses pierced. And I'm like, oh my god, I just had a dream about that. And then like we did. We just like set up an appointment, and we went. And I went with her to get my first tattoo. And we got the best friends tattoos.
That's so cool. So how did you meet Robert?
Well, I was working at a shop downtown, and Robert worked at the Paramount, so him and his little coworkers would come by every day. And like we were just friends for a couple of years, and
Not Twitter.
no, like real life. Like pre-COVID. He just came in every day, and then one day he was buying someone lunch, and I was like, oh, so you buy everyone lunch but me? And like he just felt awkward and left, and that was weird.
Oh, he didn't even buy you lunch?
I was like, I like Splendora, like gelato, as I'm nodding my head, just like trying to get the point across, like, come on. But no, still didn't get it. It took about 4 years before we went out on our first date.
Aww.
And I had to ask him out because he's just so shy.
I relate with him so hard.
Oh my gosh.
No, for me, not if the person makes the first move, I'm definitely gonna go for it. But I won't be making the first one usually.
Oh.
Yeah, but Vanessa is actually the one that got us together because she was friends with him first, and we just started talking through her. So Vanessa is
That's so sweet.
Hats off to you.
That's pretty sweet. So, and I still can't believe that 4 years. That's adorable. That makes sense because I'm gonna guess. Is your internet personality the same as like your real life personality? That story makes me think that you are this chirpy, friendly, chatty person everywhere.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm like always smiling when I'm out. It's just natural for me. And I type the way I think and talk. So you will see how I type on Twitter. It's
the same way.
Like I'm talking 100%. That way.
You have more accents though. That I didn't know
Getting
all that.
excited.
Because like we were goofing around before, but you had like a southern accent, but then when you do like a character like a New York Guido, you're like, I'm from Jersey. I lived in Jersey or whatever. Like, wait, what? Oh, that's so cool. And, and then you started your own business and all that stuff, or if that's probably interesting to other people. But you're also a mom. Do you call yourself a mompreneur? I can't say it. An entrepreneur and a mom. If you push that together, it's a mom.
Mompreneur.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm gonna say no.
No, it's a bad business. Legal counsel Mike, is that a bad brand if I can't say it?
Yes.
Wow.
Momtrepreneur.
You know what? Whatever, Mike. Okay, not everyone can say it like you.
That
That was beautiful. No, my role is mom first, family first. Like virtual school is starting up for my kids, so like he's first. Our schedule's gonna zoom around him. When I find time to work, I can, but I just call it my work because it's my, like, I enjoy it. It's things I work with people in organizations that I can invest in and enjoy working with. Like if I don't like the person, I'm not going to work with them. If I don't believe what they're doing or have an invested interest, I'm not going to work with them, and I will say no.
Is that why you always try to quit?
Several times. Wait, which the podcast?
Is that every time you're like, if Mike Schwartz shows up one more time, I am out of here.
I knew
Mama
it.
Trepreneur.
Mama
Mama Manure.
So, Mike Schwartz.
Hey,
So everyone, you can't see me, can you? So I keep like gesturing and like, no, yeah, like, oh, my camera is on. Oh God.
I
found a.
I can see you. You're beautiful.
Oh boy.
Nice hair.
I found the cannabis lager, something in my fridge.
Lozenge.
Lozenger. So I was like, oh, let's try this, and I think it kicked in.
Lozenge.
Yeah, just a lozenge.
Lozenger?
No ER. Just a lozenge.
We sound drunk.
It's a lozenge. Yeah.
It's so funny that like I was like, hey, I should start a podcast, even though I had to go through like speech class all through schooling and have like mumble a lot and can't pronounce a lot of words and have dyslexia. But I'm like, let's start a podcast where it involves lots of talking, pronunciating, and reading people's last names.
Right.
But I think that works because I think it weeds out the people who are like, if you spell something wrong, they like want to tear you down. Like, it weeds them out. Like if you listen to this show or you follow us on social media, you're okay with some spelling errors and some things that make absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, you should see the text.
And that's just Breeze texting, not me.
Oh boy.
Hey.
Shout out to your Blame Your Brother shirt. I love that.
Blame Your Brother. BYB Pod on Twitter. I met you first, and later on I started. Yeah, I met the.
You were
BYB
like the first.
group.
Like I remember thinking like to some friends, like fellow Potter and family, when I was on the Quartet like Arts Network, like to some people, like you were like the first fangirl or like fan. Not like I don't know what it was. Like, you were like the first fan that we all like had. Like you were like the first person who was listening who also wasn't making it, and oh my God, we fucking loved you. You were a celebrity. Oh, but a sidetrack though, when you were on the Blame Your Brother live stream, it was just funny because we had already been working together, knowing each other for a while. I was like, holy shit, that's my producer. She's gonna be a star. Like, you pop so much on the camera. I know how, which is funny. I think the three of you are a lot more uncomfortable on camera than I am, which is always real fun.
Yeah.
But I was like watching. I was like, damn, fuck, we're gonna make Brie famous. We're gonna make her do her own side project because we all have so much free time.
Right.
Yes.
No, you guys.
So much.
You guys
Oh,
are-
so I see Mike. I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Schwartz. Could that be your name? No, it can't work if you have it double, right? So it'd have to be like, Chris, I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Ball? Nope, that doesn't work either.
Oh.
Oh lord.
Stop while you're ahead.
So Mike, where are you from originally? I know you live in Utah, but is that where you birthed?
No. So I was born in the Bay Area, moved around a lot, lived in Philly for a little bit when I was super young, then lived in Spokane, Denver, and then I spent most of my growing up years in Seattle.
Whoa.
And then after I graduated high school, I went to Idaho for a little bit, then back to the Bay Area for a year-ish, and then after that I came out to Utah and been here for 10-ish years.
Did you get fellow military family or
Nope.
just family that
Nope.
moved around?
My dad works in small pharma, and his companies small pharma is a cutthroat business. So his companies kept getting bought out by big pharma companies, and so he would get new jobs, or he would get promoted, or the company would get absorbed by another company. So we just did a lot of moving around, but when we were younger. But we moved to Seattle when I was in 6th grade, and then they still live in Seattle now. So they've been there for 15.
Where did you go to high school?
The name of it's Snohomish
What's-
High School.
Is it Washington? Is that Seattle area?
A half hour, 45 minutes north of Seattle.
All right, because when we first met, I just kept discovering that we liked a lot of the same music, but you lived in Utah, so I made up a story in my head that it was because of The Used is why you were into punk rock. But, I mean, you also, now I'm like, oh, you spent your formative years outside of Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So no wonder you like great music.
I do what I can.
One of my, a guest we had on, a friend of mine, John Malio, I knew him from the Jersey scene years ago, but he moved out to Seattle and he has a pop punk band called Dead Bars. I think they're doing pretty well. I think that's the only thing I know about the Seattle music scene currently. But was EMP there when you were growing up? Oh,
EMP opened up I think the year after we moved there. But I mean, it's still one of my favorite things to do whenever I go to the city.
I know I'm going to ask you the lamest question, but did you ever meet any of the Nirvana people?
No, I wish. I would. So they have one of the standard stays in EMP is a Nirvana exhibit, and I mean, I'm a huge Dave Grohl fanboy. I love anything and everything Dave Grohl does. So I think if I ever saw him, I would probably pass out from pure excitement. Same thing with Buddy Nielsen from Census Fail. I know we've talked a lot about it. Census Fail is my favorite band.
We gotta work on a pitch for him.
If we ever got Buddy, I would pass out.
Yeah,
there's no question in my mind. I couldn't be on the show because I would just be like
stuttering.
Yeah. So one thing Mike, we have a pitch we're working on for Buddy. I think that would actually I have a feeling
this seems to be a challenge.
I mean,
yeah, because he just started his own podcast.
He just started a podcast. We've had so many people on. He's one of those people. I don't know him, but I have a lot of in real life friends who are are friends with him. Or people have been on, or even Colin Jay was is the Census Fails merch guy. We had Keith who was in Census Fail,
right.
But Buddy, I think we could definitely get a message to him. But it made me think.
Buddy, if you're listening,
maybe we have
girl.
the Patreon that we were have starting to use. Maybe we could do producer episodes where we talk about all the fun behind the scenes shit that no one gets to know about, who we're trying to get for next.
Yeah.
So how'd you meet your wife?
Oh, all right. You ready for this? We met on Tinder.
Get the fuck out of here.
We 100% met on Tinder twice, actually.
The modern day Plenty of Fish.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm very much a homebody. I'm very much an introvert. So if I was going to meet anyone, it was going to be online, and that was meeting people organically is just not something I do well.
It's like the world shifted for us when all this happened, because I feel the same way.
Yeah, no, I mean, this COVID thing hasn't been too much of a change for me. I just hang out. My only difference is I work from home, and that's it. But anyway, so I met Jenna originally on Twitter. We had a little fling, and then we both ghosted each other. Yeah, and then I know, and then I'm not sure exactly how much time went by. I can't remember. But then both of us reconnected again on Tinder, and that one stuck. So.
Did you talk about how you guys ghosted each other?
Yeah, we still talk about it. We still joke about it. Yeah.
We still talk.
We still talk.
On weekends.
So every now and then, it's just kind of a whatever. No. And we have a 2.5-year-old. Her name's Claire, and she's the cutest little thing that you could ever imagine. I post a lot of pictures of her on my Twitter. Which is Roomba_GG, and no, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I'm a big video gamer, and Roomba is my gamer tag. And
I picked it up.
the reason that I'm Roomba is because it was a time, I don't know, 6, 7, 8-ish years ago. I had a I was playing a game that I play a lot, and I had a really bad game, and some dude was bad mouthing me. He's like, dude, you freaking suck, man. You're like a broken vacuum. No, you're like that freaking broken Roomba that just wanders around and hits doors. I'm like, huh. You know what? I'm taking that and I'm running with it. So I changed all of my gamer tags to Roomba or Roomba_GG if Roomba was already taken. And that's how most of my online friends know me as. I shouldn't say none of them. My close ones know that my name is Mike, but a lot of my other acquaintances just know me as Roomba.
You have a hell of an interesting origin name.
Yeah, I know.
Did you explain the story to your family a little bit different, or maybe you left out the first part?
No, I think originally Jenna and I said when this is both of us. When we both told our parents, we said that we met in the library. But I mean, after it wasn't very much longer after we told them that, we'd give them the whole Tinder love and care story.
Aww.
Yeah.
Tinder love and care. That is so sweet.
Tinder love and care. Yep.
Yeah.
Boy.
When we the first time you came on that call that Bree had set up, you were like going through the drive-thru with your daughter, and it was like in 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
Oh, I would be instead. This is not how you should I don't know. Maybe this is good. Like the way I feel like I've always decided things is like it wasn't even like don't tell me about your qualifications. Like none. Don't even tell me about anything of that stuff. The second you jumped on, I'm like, oh, he's a good dad. I was like, all right, he's in. Like within seconds, and then you sold yourself. And maybe I made it, but I was like, yeah, I have we're all parents here.
He's like, good, I sold it. Ha!
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's. I think you're getting like Chick-fil-A. I was like, I love Chick-fil-A.
Oh my God, that's
No,
pretty
it was so in Utah they have these little soda shops. So we were just grabbing I was grabbing my big old 44-ounce Coke Zero with peach. And
you get that option?
Yeah, it's
I'm mad.
soda. It's called a Sodalicious, and SODA-licious. And there's one called Swig. They're everywhere in Utah. It's a very big thing amongst the Utahns. Or soda shops.
I've been to Wendover, Utah. Have you ever been there?
And Wendover's in Nevada, technically, because there are casinos.
Our hotel was in Utah, though, I thought.
Yeah, that's right. It's literally right on the border.
Yeah, it's scary.
All the casinos are on the Nevada side.
Yep.
And then everything else is on the Utah side because of taxes.
Because I drove cross country. We stayed there, and I've never seen so many people who were clearly using methamphetamine. And I'm only saying that because those people were offering me methamphetamine when I was trying to buy like Five Guys or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, go to Snohomish where I grew up. It's one of the top meth counties per capita in the U.S. So,
It was like me when I visited Baltimore once. Jesus.
No, it's Baltimore.
Hello.
If you watch The Wire, it's Baltimore.
Yeah, I've been following a podcast for years. It's like a nerdy podcast. They have a whole network, but it's predominantly all black nerds.
Oh,
basically.
blurs? I love blurs.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's hilarious because you get to see all that stuff from the inside out.
What's it called?
Nerdpocalypse.
Oh, I love their Facebook group.
Oh yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah, Nerdpocalypse. They don't do the Patreon thing like we were discussing. They do it. They have a whole different mechanic, but they also built a really big core audience.
Oh, like the Kofi.
No, they actually have exclusive shows, like shows you cannot get unless you pay. It's like $5 a month or $50 a year.
Oh yeah.
Which works amazing for them.
I thought you were about to say they actually have listeners, and Bree was gonna rip your head off.
Yeah.
And Mike is like,
Yeah, I'm here.
That was your legal
I'm from
counsel.
Utah.
No,
You're like
it was
Mike's
just-
like our Joe from Legal on the Muppets, but except he's cool.
No, I get this cool different perspective on like even being nerds and versus the cultural difference and how they see things, and it's kind of cool, especially from our fellow nerd perspectives.
Yeah, especially too, because like if you have no connection to the gamer or nerd communities, from the outside perspective, you just kind of think of like a bunch of alt-right trolls, and there's a lot of wonderful, great people that are not that. Like it's the shittiest voices get amplified. Especially, and I don't know if I'm sure we've all probably gone to a Comic-Con. It's just the weirdest group of people you've ever been around. All my blurred friends were like, "Yeah, of course there's fucking Nazis. We've been telling you for years, motherfucker." Thinking of one person. One of my favorite blurs is at a ball we're both fans of Mark Bernardin, who's a dream guest. I've tried several times. If anyone can make that happen, oh my god, we'll pay you. Because he hosts Fat Man Beyond with Mark Bernardin, and it's funny too. I notice like whenever we have our Let's Chat meetings, there's so many like super specific niche things that all of us love that I'm like, wait, no one at work likes this stuff. So it is funny the kind of people that get attracted. That's like we all love like pop punk and ska and nerd like fucking superhero movies, and like it's pretty great. Mike, I don't know. Does anyone else have any more questions for? Oh, I know. I was stalling there. A little trick. Tell us about the time that you won the Seth Rogen lookalike contest. Because thank you, Chris Paul. We have the most badass sticker of Seth Rogen. I mean you.
Nah.
Yeah. So so it's my sister's husband's mother. Yes.
Wait, say it again?
My brother-in-law's mother.
Oh, that's way faster.
Yeah, that's way. Yeah.
I got so confused by sister. I'm like, wait, you're married to your sister? But I thought they got Tinder.
Those Utahnians.
God damn it.
Is that a thing about Utah?
No, there's the
Mormons, right?
Polygamist. Yeah, most of them are. There's still a few polygamist.
I might have watched an episode.
Yeah, they're kind of outcast, aren't they?
I mean, they still exist. I mean, when I worked at Costco, they came in every once in a while. They're just
like a weird little
normal people.
Yeah, I don't really have any hot takes as someone who was terrified of everything their whole life and was just happy to land a wife that I did. Good for them. Happy motherfuckers. I think I was more of a Robert of the Bree situation. Like, you're pretty. Huh? I'll talk to you on the internet. Bye.
I'm gonna walk away now.
Okay.
See you on the internet. Yeah, I feel that.
I met Victoria on eHarmony.
What? Say that again?
I met Victoria, my wife, on eHarmony.
Oh, hell yeah.
Aw, that's awesome.
I think mine was Plenty of Fish, so.
Oh my gosh, really? You guys are all in. That's cute.
Bree's the only one who met someone in IRL.
Organically.
Real life people.
I think it helps you down Stealth. I think Stealth has a different way of moving as far as compared to the rest of the world.
We're nicer.
Even meeting people, interacting in that way where you could actually just feel comfortable enough to do something like that. Yeah, but definitely.
We're all giving you a head shake there, buddy.
Getting older.
It's called You're Nervous.
Anxiety.
Mike, did we finish whatever we were asking you? Because I forgot.
No, we didn't. So my brother-in-law's mom submitted. There's a lookalike contest every year that this magazine does, and so she submitted, or she told me about it and told me to submit. So I took a few headshots, sent them in, and then I got an email back saying, "Hey, you look just like him. LOL. Do you want to come in and do a quick blurb and then appear on Good Morning Utah?" I'm like, "Oh, sure, why not?"
So fucking jealous.
No, you don't need to be. So they spelled my name wrong in the magazine. That was kind of embarrassing. And they put my hometown. They put my hometown as where I was living currently. Definitely, I don't claim that as my hometown. But anyways, so I went to their little studio. They interviewed me, and they said, "Okay, cool. Will you come to the K13 or whatever it is studio on this date, and we'll do a little thing for Good Morning Utah." And the clip's out there somewhere. I haven't looked at it in a long minute, but yeah,
I'll reach it on Twitter.
Go for it. Yeah, if you can find it, more power to you. But yeah, so I was featured on the cover of Utah Valley Magazine's Doppelganger issue in 2016, I think. 2015? 2016? I think it was 16, because I was married. Yeah, I think it was 2016 or 2017, because I was already married.
That's pretty cool. So if we put like a little fake black goatee on you, would you be? That could be the best merch. We could have like evil Seth Rogen.
Yes.
Get a little.
It's very much who I am.
Get a little community. Not reference in there.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, man.
Yes, that was my 15 minutes of fame.
That's pretty cool. So all movers. All right, so Ball.
Hello.
I just assumed that you're from New Hampshire, but I've been wrong with all three of you. The first two of you tonight. So
100% am. 100% from here, absolutely.
Where in New Hampshire are you?
I currently reside in probably the next town from where I'm originally from. I've lived all over the place, but I've come back to New Hampshire over the years. No, I live probably like 10 minutes from the coast at this point. 10 minutes from Hampton Beach.
Oh,
so and I work like I probably have 3 minutes from the beach. So needless to say, I don't go to the beach.
You got your 12-mile coastline that you're all very proud of.
Yeah, well, I mean, somebody is. I mean, I drive up it at best once in a while. Most people don't pay attention to it. Honestly, the townies around here don't really like it, but it's whatever. It's like anything. It's a tourist thing.
So, how did you meet your wife?
Plenty of fish, actually.
Yeah, he said that earlier, man. He said that earlier, dude.
Whatever, Mike.
Chris.
Thank you.
I was reminding the audience it's what a host does, I've heard.
Oh, my bad.
Burn. Hey, we haven't done a you bitch yet.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
You bitch?
Wow. Man, that's a forward.
Yeah,
well, you gotta be, or Mike doesn't understand.
Yeah, that's true.
Whenever Bree gets Mike sass, we go, you bitch?
What?
But the funny thing
Bree's over here empowering Chris now.
But we also say it to we say it to Mike as well. We call Mike the bit. We rotate. We're all you bitch.
We are all bitches.
So we're like a Michael Scott. We're taking it back.
Oh God, you found it.
I did. I found it, and I tweeted a picture.
Yeah, you did.
I'm glad someone's on our social media. Not this night.
Oh, Bree.
Ball.
Oh, no. I'm gonna find the video too, so you just
go.
You?
If you can find it, I will be very impressed.
I can find anything on the internet. It's just what I do. Anything.
Anything?
That's
pretty good.
There's some things I'd prefer if you didn't search for.
What
you
is
hear
it?
that, NSA guy?
Anyway.
So, Ball, how did you meet your wife again?
On your fish?
So you were fishing with plenty of what?
Son of a bitch.
And when you and your wife first met, where was that at? Like,
they still haven't met. They're just
so you walk me through it. You're going through your day. You're about to meet your wife for the first time ever. But where was that?
Are you still talking to me, or are you going to talk to everybody else?
So we're by the ocean. We're fishing.
You're just fishing.
No,
where did you meet your wife, Chris Ball?
Fishing?
Tell us. We just want to know.
Fishing my ass. I don't have the attention span to fish. What was it? No. Like I said, I met her online. I was actually a little ways from my house. I was actually house sitting somebody and their cat, someone's house and their cat while they went away to the UK for a vacation or something. A good friend of mine, and I dated for years on and off online. And yeah, right. And her name was one of something, like on an email. Here's the top pick in the area for you, or those type of algorithms. And I saw her, and I'm like, I'm not from here. I'm like 45 minutes away. But I was like, at the very least, I'm like, I might as well say hi, because at the very least, I'm stuck here for a week. I might as well at least maybe meet a friend, or who knows, just hanging around, binging Supernatural forever on early Netflix. And pretty much. Back in the day when I used to smoke cigarettes, at that point, chain smoking like crazy by myself with a cat. But yeah, I met her. We actually met like down the street at like the local Dunkin' Donuts, which is, that's romantic as sin. So
Hell yeah.
and you have a couple old Hispanic guys staring at you the whole time. So it was awkward. Nothing really happened, and that was kind of the end. And I think that was going to be pretty much it. And then she actually, I believe, if I remember correctly, she messaged me and asked if I wanted to go out the next day just to go hang out somewhere. And we went out to dinner and, just kept hanging out, say, the whole week. And it just kind of progressed from there, pretty much.
Wait, is the same way that you started working with this podcast is the same way you met your wife? You just showed up and just hung out?
I hung around.
Yeah.
Because that's how you my entire life.
I swear, I wish I could discover like my life career by doing this.
Yeah,
just fall into it casually,
You kind of explained my entire life. Like even like,
Here we go.
Can I take just a guess here that in high school none of us were like in a particular group, but we had like multiple groups of friends.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I just floated.
So.
I mean, I had my core group, but
Yeah.
Whatever, Mike. Okay.
Yeah, I had a couple.
Whatever.
I had 3 core friends, and then
They just didn't know it, right?
Yeah, how much did you pay a week, or was it monthly?
Yeah, they didn't know it. I had 3 core friends. They had each other, but I was just kind of like hanging out in the back. I'm like, hey guys, do you want to hang out sometime?
You were the
Like
McLovin.
Seth Rogen, be my friend.
Yeah, almost 100% the McLovin. just sitting in the background, trying to be included. Not really. I hated being included. I'm still very much not very much. I'm still the same. I want to stay inside and play video games instead of going out and doing stuff.
I know. How did you? And you're in school. Plus, you have a child and a full-time job, and then you're like, I'll take business development on for a small, hopefully soon to be successful podcast. And now we're like keep pulling you out into the limelight more and more. But which I think is great. But is there a part of us that is? Do we fulfill your social need? You're like, all right, I talk to some people.
Yeah,
Are we the core group now? The 3 core?
I talk to you 3 more than I talk to pretty much anyone else besides my like coworkers.
Yeah, 100% actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even my coworkers.
Yeah, actually some coworkers, and sometimes my wife. So.
No, I talk to my daughter and my wife are the top, and then it's you guys, and then it's my internet, and then it's my other video game friends, and then it's my coworkers.
We like games.
I know.
It feels like this generation, we're just made for this like for like the COVID. It's like, all right, get to smoke weed and play video games all day. Awesome.
So all right, I guess I'll work for like an hour, but that's the most you're gonna get.
Yeah.
JK.
Taking a break.
Yeah.
That's too funny. And this is like Tony Hawk is just coming out like in the last hour, and I'm not playing it right now. So this is how committed I am to you all.
I'm literally going through my Nintendo Switch eShop right now looking for on sale games. So.
Did you guys see the Mario stuff that's coming out for his 35th anniversary?
No. Tell me.
Yeah, so Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Odyssey, and then another one I can't remember. They're all being remade.
Oh, not Odyssey, Galaxy.
They're being ported onto the Switch.
You mean Galaxy, not Odyssey.
Oh my god.
Did I say Odyssey? Yeah, Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Galaxy.
My
Yeah,
nephew,
I've seen one.
I
I've
love
seen one.
Mario. I don't have a Switch. My nephew does, so I'm gonna have to buy it for him so I can play it.
There you go.
Sweet.
It's,
Well, you know what
man,
sucks?
yeah.
I always want to play a Switch, but whenever I see him, he wants to play like board games or have a water gun fight or like do like kid
Oh
stuff.
man, people stuff.
I'm probably the only uncle who's like, can we please play video games? And he's like, no. He wants to
Dang.
like, because he's my little nephew Benny. He's 6. He calls it boy. He likes that as boy time. Yeah, he's my buddy.
That's adorable.
But I want to play Mario,
No.
Yeah.
and he's really good.
Old school Mario, man. Well, quote unquote
yeah.
old school. 64 and
Yeah,
the
we're
OG
just
Wii.
the old ones now.
No, I'm a
Yes.
retro gamer, 100%. I like new stuff. I played Odyssey with at my buddy James's house. It was really good. I really liked Odyssey. I didn't play the Maker. Like Mario is one of those few games. Like I'm not like a gamer, but I'll go fucking hard on Mario for any time. Like it's such a constant in your life. At some point, you're like, oh, I've just been playing a new Mario game every few years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things that you just realize.
I think it's kind of like the same motion as music, where you get to a certain age and then you just stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
It's
you'll always
13.
go further. You'll always hear other stuff, but you'll always go back to the things that you know. Like for me, like old Super Nintendo games, and
Yeah, 100%.
you know,
I feel like we all.
I'll always come back to Census Fail and Blink-182.
Yeah, I love early Blink too, and I love Census Fail. Yeah, we gotta. I don't know if it's. I just saw that Equal Vision Records signed a podcast, so the whole industry.
I did see that. I heard something about that.
Yeah, and I saw that they like the people at Jabberjaw Media teamed up and started like a new network, like kind of talent. The whole. I don't know. I mean, I think it's something I think we should try to.
We need to get in something before.
Into.
We gotta get in there and make some money before the thing collapses, right?
Well, I forgot who I was talking
Podcast
to.
dies.
I was just talking to David, the producer from Umbrella Rant. And I was talking to him recently, and I remember was just joking. Like I remember when I started in like 2013, everyone's like, "Oh man, you missed it. The podcast boom is over. You fucked up." So I don't. And when Corona hit, I think there was a solid month of podcasts are fucking over. No one's going to listen to them again. Revenues are down 20%. The industry, we're done. So for anything, I like to think that Let's Chat is going to be the podcast, whatever level of metric of success people will measure us by. It's just going to be, we're just here forever, you know?
I'm glad that happened though, because that means all the like casuals who didn't really care about doing this in the first place all took off. You know?
Yeah,
now they're the ones that criticize everybody instead.
They call
failed musicians.
They call it pod fade, and I respect people who start one of
That's
these.
always a boom.
Yeah, I get it. There's always bubbles and bursts. So let's wrap. Let's have like kind of our closing thoughts of it. And you know, I think I've learned a fuck ton from working with all of you, but and I feel like especially after our See You Live event, I'm kind of having this like, sky's the fucking limit for us. What's blue sky version? Just like what's your biggest goal that you want to do with this? Bree, go off. You start.
Oh my gosh. Yes. My biggest goal is
Or dream. Let's make it a dream, so it's not so like we're not sticking to it. Like, what's your like fantasy? Like for fun. Let's have some fun.
to connect with a whole bunch of people and make. So a lot of the podcasters have like little websites, which is mostly just like a blog. I just want to connect with all the podcasters and help them with their social media and make it pretty, and their website and make it pretty. Like that would make me happy.
Like
So,
people give you money to do that.
yeah, I mean, not even a lot of money. Like I.
Hey, we're not selling ourselves short here.
Everyone deserves like a good quality picture, a good quality website and social media. Like I can help you set it up and you can run it, but it needs to be pretty and let me help you.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of like it kind of feels like this is like going to become a. I really thought that we were just going to build this. Like when we first teamed up, we were just going to build a podcast. It really feels like we're building like a launching pad to do like a billion other things. We've started our own fucking freelance podcast service that we are still kind of learning. Like it's fucking nuts. It's nuts. So that's crazy. Ball, what's for you? Like, what's your wild, crazy fantasy?
Oh, jeez.
That's it. No,
Yeah, in terms of podcasting, ball. Let's keep that in mind.
It was funny. The three of us, we're not the pervy bunch. We're pretty
I
appropriate.
feel like one of us in here is. We just don't know.
Okay, so that's that question. Who doesn't think highly of himself? Let me see. I don't know. I would like, much like some other shows, I'd like to see this grow and build a fan base. I mean, it doesn't have to be this big, epic, grand thing. But if you have
Yo, you are the worst
enough,
fantasy person I've ever heard.
Regular people.
No. That sounds like what we're doing.
pragmatic,
What's the
okay?
fantasy? Big dreams here, buddy. Cover of the Rolling Stone. Like, have some fun.
To have to actually physically work outside of his job as little as possible.
Yeah.
How about that?
Your dream is to quit the podcast?
Like this and maybe something else. Finding something else that would branch out so I can work and make money off of other shows or whatever, to where I don't need to actually physically work for other people anymore. In that sense.
First, I thought you said it was to quit this. I was like, wait, your goal is to quit? Let's chat.
This is probably a bad time to tell you, but
you're just a tool for the next step up. No. Basically, I don't like I think I've learned after all these years, working for other people sucks.
Yes, it does. That's why you start your own thing, Benjamin.
Yeah, I haven't quite figured out what my thing is and how to utilize that in a way that is going to make me a living, and I'm going to be happy with it.
It's almost like we all met each other for a good reason.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of broken Tinker Toys. It's okay.
Mike, lead business development. What's your wildest business development? No, just kidding. What about you?
I would love if people started coming to us and saying, "Hey, we want you to feature our products on your podcast," or we want, instead of us reaching out, I want to be at a point where we have to turn people away just because we're not able to handle it all. I think that would be a dream.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know about you all, but I'm not a wealthy man. I'll huck some values around for a few lazy bucks. So I'll wear that T-shirt. I'll wear that Halliburton hat for a live stream.
I've been turned down for a new car 3 times this week. So
any car companies? Well, I have a yard. Yeah. I have.
And I have a car that's got about $2,000 worth of repairs on it. So. Yeah, so needless to say, I'm a humble person, but I'm not afraid to get dirty.
Yeah, so if you're out there, but in all seriousness, we will have like a ethical guideline and all that bullshit because we have morals.
Yes.
But to an extent.
Is the limit like Blue Chew, or is it more Adam and Eve, or is it?
Oh, I'm all for that. I'm just saying that like Chick-fil-A wants to sponsor us. I'm not saying no.
Like DraftKings.
I think, maybe I don't know, like, maybe these are one of those things you talk about off mic.
So,
if it's like the newest edition of Mein Kampf, they're not going to get a sponsor.
No, they won't.
No, we'll take their money and then not air the ad. I'm sure.
Hell yeah.
No, I think that's kind of cool. I mean, I guess for me though, I don't know. I never thought of this doing anything more, but Ball, I'm kind of with you. I'm like at that point, like I think capitalism is making me look at things differently, and I'm like, I need a backup plan. What can I make money from? But no, it's hanging out with you all. Honestly, this is the dream right here. But no, the craziest dream, like I would love, like I don't know if we're doing like a vision board. I'm not kidding. I would love to see us on the cover of Rolling Stone. Like I grew up with reading it and stuff. Like I don't know. In my therapist, I was like, what's the craziest thing? I was like, I don't know. It'd just be like iconic.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm gonna work towards that, but.
So if it happens, Rolling Stone #, we are for it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. My therapist is. I talk about doing EMDR therapy a lot on here, and I get high frequently. But there's like some things like I've learned like with the therapy. Like there's like it's like that it kind of gets in that woo world about like perception and stuff. It's like, well, like my therapist would be like, well, there's like 2 options. Either You'll be on the cover or you won't be, and you can choose how you believe it to be. And if you believe it, and it puts you even a percentage point closer to it, why not? It costs you nothing. It's how this atheist has become more comfortable with being spiritual as I've gone on and lived with uncertainty.
Listen, at this point, I'd be happy to be in some little kid's fanzine somewhere on a bookshelf for free. Some music fanzine. I'd be happy just with an interview, you know?
We all cut
Yeah.
out. Wait,
Yeah.
aren't we being interviewed now?
Is this the test? Is this
Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
god damn it, I knew it.
Pull out the veil, pull out the veil.
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
no. I would also no, but truthfully, to relate it to comedy terms, I would love for the Let's Chat podcast, whatever we turn this into, to be a launching pad, like a UCB, like a place where a lot of people come through here that we work with at various levels. Like some maybe we're OGs, we stay forever. Some people maybe this is your thing that is a huge launching pad to something else, and the whole maybe someone goes on to something huge and they bring us along with them. That'd be pretty cool too. But yeah, we're looking to work. We just want to work together. At this point, I just want to make a podcast and do fucking cool shit on the internet, and we got it's fun.
entertain people, build a community, and yeah.
I'd like to live off of this
Yeah.
and make a lot of money.
As much as possible.
Then we can start nonprofits and help people and their podcasts and other do.
Exactly. I'd get the fuck out of fuck
I
helping
mean, I've been
people.
doing that forever,
so we
so.
can help people. Oh, let's all right. Well, we good. Oh, I'll put this in the beginning too. Thank you to Anthony Willie for our new theme song, which we premiered in this very episode, which I think we listened to together. It was great. So